welcome to Drumard Farm for this first look map tour with me, Mr. Seeley P. Drumard Farm is based around a real working beef farm in the green fields of Ireland, County Louth. There are two farms, Drumard Farm where the cows and sheep can be found, and Drumard Arable Farm where the pigs are located. So here's where we begin on our first look map tour around Drumard Farm in County Louth, Ireland. We start off by a very yellow farmhouse. Very nice. We are at Drumard Farm, and as you can see directly in front of you, there are gold nuggets on this map. That's the first obvious thing. If I collect one, you have discovered a gold nugget. I'm going to whiz around this farm first, Drumard Farm, and then further over the map there is Drumard Arable Farm. And then there are the stores and various different things that we will go and have a look at. First thing I'm going to do before I do any of that is look at the equipment we start with, and you start with a fair amount. You start with a Deutz-Fahr AgroStar 661, a Fendt 700 Vario or Vario depending on how you say it, a JCB Fast Track 3000. You start with the front loader forks for the Fendt, a Kramer, which I love on my other Let's Plays. It's a brilliant bit of kit. Start with the Kramer front loader, couple of buckets, some bale forks, pallet forks, bale spikes, the New Holland TC 590, trailers, cultivators, ploughs, the Vaderstat Rapid, which is quite a nice addition to have in there. It's a fair size one to be starting off with. The Bradale fertilizer spreader, which I kind of use on my maps generally anyway, so that's a nice addition to start with. Slurry spreader, you start with another FarmTech. Is that a slurry? Manure spreader, sorry. Manure spreader. Weights, front mower, tedder, windrower, loading wagon, bale wrapper, baler, Aquatrans, water container, and you start with a Silo King Trail Line animal feed wagon. So to say that you start with a fair bit of equipment is an understatement. You do start with quite a lot. So first thing to note as we go down, if you look at the map at the bottom left hand corner, actually what we'll do is I'll go onto the main map right here and we'll zoom in. We start at bottom left hand corner, so kind of southwest corner. Down here, as you can see, off to our east is the cows, off to the west and up the hill we've got our sheep. There is a woodland. We're going to go and look at all of that. If I zoom back out, you start off with a few fields, I'll be honest. Up on here we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. A few of these are grass, to be fair. 27, 32, 33, 34, and again some of these are grass fields. It's interesting because it's a medium size map. It's not huge, but it's not tiny, but it feels huge, and I'll explain why when I go around the map. It does feel very big, and it's cleverly done that way, and I really do like it. I have to say, I've done a few first look map tours now, and on a few different maps, and I really do like this one because of its size, but there's a lot of details on here which I'm kind of really falling for. I will explain as I go around. So we're going to start our map tour here at Drumard Farm, and then we're going to head north up the main road, go across the top east to Drumard Arable Farm, and then we're going to come down kind of southeast to where all the stores etc are, looking at a few things along the way. As far as prices go, not bad, I have to say. They're set at quite a good level. I've got this on normal at the moment. I haven't got it on easy, but I haven't got it on hard either. But when you scroll across, looking at some of the prices, wood chips 719. When I first clicked this on, when I loaded it up, they were up around 800, which is pretty good for wood chips. And then if you look at the price for silage, 1,700. That's high for silage. I did a big silage harvest on Lawfolds, and I think I got 1,669 for 1,000 litres. That's a good price. So prices are good on the map, which is a good start. Anyway, down into the main farm. I'm picking up these as I go. First thing to point out, not all of the fields have gates. Some of them are open, some of them don't have gates at all, but in the main farm, automatic gates. Nice touch. First time I've come across that on PS4. We've had gates you can open yourself manually, which is a nice touch. Oh, found 10 gold nuggets already, so the rest have appeared on the map. Have a quick look. So, kind of clustered, if I'm honest. They're clustered, he says, they're clustered around... Best way of doing this is to do this. Right, zoom in. They are clustered around the two woodland areas. So obviously the first ones you do in the farm, you go around and you've unlocked them. So you've got a wooded area here, and then over the other side of the map there's another kind of wooded area here. So they are clustered around the two woodland areas. So it's not going to be too difficult, in all honesty, to get yourself a million, which will kind of help you out along the way. Not that you don't start with very much, so you could probably get going anyway, but that will get you a million pretty quickly, I would imagine. So into the yard at Drumard farm. I'll start off on the left hand side, why not? So as I come into the farm, I've got the cows, the cow enclosure, let's say automatic gates. It's all very lovely, I do like that. So your bedding will go in this side. Couple of nice little touches. The water troughs are old baths. I love that. That's such a brilliant thing. It's really, really good. And then your troughs out there for your grass, I believe. Then your feed area along the side here. And if I'm not mistaken, where was it? Was it around the side? Yes. Just here we have got our animal dialogue box for buying our cows. So this is the cow pasture on the kind of, yeah, I suppose as you walk into it, the left hand side of Drumard farm. We've got our trailed line feed wagon, we've got our water container, we've got a manure spreader. I'm going to kind of do a loop round. So we're now heading kind of east across the map. I know it seems a bit weird, but that's south, that's east. Nice bit of sort of barn storage area space, which is always useful on these farms. We've got our tedder, nice bit of barn area here. Now I did find it, oh there we go, it is here. Lighting in the barns, fantastic. That seems to be a pretty standard feature these days on the FS17 maps, but there you go, lighting in the barns. Windrower, we've got our fence, but I need to get in that because I'm going to need it in a minute. I'm just going to hook that up, drive out and then remove it from the front because I don't need that while I'm travelling around the map. Just drop that off there. So we will continue the tour. Mower on the left hand side. We've got a couple of silage bays. I'm not sure what this one's for actually. Don't know what this one's for at the moment. That's interesting. 3, no, not sure. I'm sure someone will point out what it is. We've got fuel station, we've got water, and if we come around here, we've got a loading wagon, slurry pit, and the biogas is here. The BGA is at the main farm, so when you're doing your silaging, you haven't got to go miles, you can do it all in here, which I think is really nice little touch, having it close at hand. The other thing I like is this slurry pit. It's brilliant. I really do like this. I don't know why. It reminds me of Knaveswell a little bit. Knaveswell farm had a slurry pit not unlike this, not dissimilar. If I haven't already mentioned it, because of the way I'm recording this map has been done by One Scuderia One. And I have to say, so far, I am liking it. Really, really am liking it. Now, there are various different fields dotted around all over the place. Another silage pit here. over to our side, and entrances to various different fields, etc., which all go off in that direction. I'm going to go around that way in a little while. So if we carry on around the yard here, back past the slurry pit, back past the cows, got to watch for that, depending on which way they open, and cow pasture. Right, so we come back out of the main, well, I'll say the main farm. This is where you start off, and this is Drumard Farm, so technically it is the main farm. Now, if I go right here now, head east, this is why the map feels big. When you actually look at the map, it's not huge, but it feels big because the way the road's laid out. And I do like the way the lanes are laid out. The other thing I love about this map, and I'm really enjoying so far, is the difference in elevation around the terrain. You've got these little hillocks and hilltops, and you've got sweeping down into little valleys, and you've got a couple of little kind of rocky outcrops, and it's just the undulation of the terrain and the elevation changes all around the map. Just makes it seem really realistic. I know it's based on a real farm, a beef farm in County Louth, which is what it said on the main thing. I've probably already read that out. But because these roads, if you look at the main map, we'll zoom in again, because the roads don't go round in a loop, there's no shortcut across the map. So when you start at the farm here, and the lane I've just taken takes you around here, then if I come back, I've got to go up to the main road here, across the top, back down. Because you're having to drive around the map, it makes the map seem really big. When you look at it realistically, if you drive straight across, it's not a huge map. There aren't massive amounts of fields. It's not a huge map, but it does feel big, and it's cleverly done. Whether that's done on purpose or not, I don't know, but it is cleverly done. There are some big fields on here, which is nice, and there are also some very small fields. So going back down to the farm now, if I go back round the yard, I suppose I should have done, well, I could have done this first, it doesn't really matter which order I do it in. If I come around the back of the yard now, there's a little track that runs around the back, just round here. It takes you round the back and up this hill. And the woodland here over to the right. But just as you come up here, got a couple of gates. And this is your sheep pen, sheep area, sheep field, sheep pasture, whatever you want to call it. Again, we've got the bathtub for your water, and then your feed goes into here. And as you come in the gate, we've got our animal dialogue box. So there we go. We can sort out buying our sheep from there, unless you want to go and collect. I mean, you can still buy them and collect them, but I'll show you where you do that in a little while. Now, because I've just literally come on this, I haven't done all the settings, so it's on auto engine start at the moment. That's not what I normally have mine set on, but I'm not complaining about that. Anyway, back down the hill, we bung a left here. We cut back round the back of the farm, down the lane, and back to the, I say down the lane, down the small lane to the slightly bigger lane. So we are now heading north up the map towards the main road. As I said before, over on the left hand side you've got a wooded area. There are a lot of, as you can see, gold nuggets up around there. So if you like doing wood chipping, forestry, there's not a huge amount, it's not massive forests, but there's enough around the map to keep you busy for a while, I'll be honest. So there you go, some forest. But this is what I'm talking about, the kind of undulating terrain and the way that you go along the tracks, and it's sweeping up one side, sweeping up on the right, and it's great. It's a great map. The mission system is active, as I will just demonstrate. There we go. Time for this mission, 29 minutes 55. I'm not going to do that just at the moment. I will carry on with the map tour. So, mission system is live. and we shall continue. And when you get to the end here, we've got our yield sign, just warning you, you are coming to a main road. And this is another, I know it sounds ridiculous, it's the little things, but coming to the end of a track on the hill already, this kind of sweep up the hill, and then the sort of swing down, but directly ahead it goes up. It's great. It really, really is a nice. I caught this at rush hour. This is ridiculous. So if I go left now, it takes me out to a few fields, and I'll just do a quick whiz up the hill. Quite a steep one. You can imagine pulling some heavy trailers and equipment up here is going to prove interesting. We've got a few fields left and right as we go up here, and the other thing I like about this, some are fenced in, some are hedged in, some are open. There's a real mixture on here, and that's really, really nice. A lot of the fields now, as you get away from the farm, have gates, but they don't open or close, they're just open all the time. The fields are relatively squared off. There's plenty of scope for if you want to plough them out, if you want to change shapes of them, but you've got a lot of room for your vehicles if you're going to set workers and things for moving equipment around, which is always a nice touch. So back down the hill, heading east, enjoying more of the terrain. I'm going to keep going on about it because I really do like it. So when we come just past here, we're going to head up towards some of the fields we own. That road sweeps down to a T-junction, which we'll get back to in a moment. If I just turn left here and up the hill. So we own a big cluster of fields up here. You start off with these on the map. So we've got 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 off to our right. And this little track leads between all of them. Another one of those situations where if you were so inclined, there's no reason why you can't plough all of these together and make one gargantuan field. But if you want to do smaller crops for various different reasons, leave them as they are. It's entirely up to you what you want to do. And like I say, when you think side to side, it's not huge, but it really does feel big, and that's a nice feature. So if I go left there, it takes me to the edge of the map. Straight across, we go to Drumard Arable Farm. I like all the little houses dotted around, and it's that kind of thing that gives it a really nice feel. So our chickens are located, as if on cue, around us. They are all here. A nice little farmhouse here. I'm going to run around the back and then we'll come back around to the front here. So we've got our fertiliser spreader, our fertiliser points, we've got water, we've got fuel around the back here. Down through the middle here we've got our offload point for our crops to put them into storage, and this is where the two silos are, just over the back there. I'll come back to those in a minute. So if you've got you want to add silos, this would be where to do it. Grass fields off to our left that we start off with, 9 and 10 are just there with our harvester and our seeder, the Livestock Rapid. A few bits of barn space, lots of room for moving vehicles around, a few trees dotted about if you want to cut them down around the farm, and our load point, so anything that's in grain storage, when you want to put it into your trailers to take it up to sell, this is where you come to do it. Back around the yard. I like the way these are laid out. I mean, they're small-ish farms, but not too tight and small that you can't get around. In here, we've got our workshop for customising and selling vehicles. Is just here. Our AgroStar shelving, if you're inclined to buy your pallets and things and you want to put them somewhere, there is storage here. But I know there are a few mods now out where you can actually buy them. We've got our manure and our slurry area. More storage, a few bits of equipment in there, ploughs, etc. There are lights in the barns, and off to our left here we have our pigs, our pig feed area. We've got a dialogue box. And our water trough, whichever one's which, I think that's the water trough, and I think the feed one's the one over there. And for bedding, we'll probably be doing it in one of these, I would think. Depends how they're split. Anyway, so yeah. And your JCB is parked up just here for your delight whenever you should choose to use it. So that's Drumard Arable Farm. I haven't tried, I don't think these doors close, but I will double check just in case. No, they don't at the moment, or at least I don't think they do. Well, they won't for me on PS4, but maybe they do on other platforms. But anyway, we've got our Kramer, bale wrapper, baler all in here, and obviously here we have got. Why are the lights not going on? That's interesting. The one in the other barn worked fine. It's showing it should be working. Maybe it's turning a light on somewhere else that I'm missing. This one definitely did though. I checked one earlier. No, I did. Well, that's peculiar. Because when I came here earlier, these worked perfectly. Never mind. They were working. How what? Oh, there we go. That one's working. How weird. Don't know why this one's not. Never mind. Anyway, there are light switches, and they were working. Anyway, back to what we were talking about before. Oh, hang on. There we go. The outside one's on. Just not the inside. Okay. There you go. It does work. Anyway, on with the tour. So, back out of Drumard Arable Farm. Onto the main road, and as we come up the hill here, there's a turning off to our left, which takes you out to the other section of woodland. There are kind of sparse pockets of woodland all over the place, so like I say, if you're going to be doing your wood cutting, and like you can probably see, if I slow down a little bit, gold nuggets dotted in and amongst the trees, so they are amongst all of the woodland areas. But again, you've got these sweeping lanes and changes in just, yeah. I know I sound all gushy, and yeah, I've done it on a few different maps, and a few different ones I've done the first looks at. I've really enjoyed the map. I've enjoyed going around it and the details, but being on this kind of raised I don't know what you call it actually, walkway. Oh, that's not a walkway, but plenty of space if you've got your forestry equipment for setting up wood chippers and all the various different bits of equipment. But there you go. So, second forest area. And back to the main road. So, we go left. We're now heading kind of southeast, I guess. Down the map, all our fields either side. Like I say, lots of grass fields on this map, so there's be no shortage of baling, cutting grass, making silage bales, any of those things. It's all here. Plenty of grass areas. Now, but the main road here, and what seems rather kind of innocuous little side turning. If we take a fork here, because the edge of the map is just there, up this little track, lane, past some more grass fields. On our right hand side we have the equipment store, shop, whatever you want to call it. If I just check on the main map. So we are now in this section here. So Drumard stores, there's Drumard sale area 1 and 2, Drumard farm trades, and the shop. So for buying and selling of equipment, for customizing and selling here, buying of equipment here. It's very much like the one on Lawfolds actually. It's that same kind of building and construction. If you haven't played Lawfolds, that's what it looks like on Lawfolds. If we come back out of the equipment store and turn right, still heading south down the map, there's a little town. Just kind of pops up out of nowhere. It's amazing. You wouldn't know it was here, I suppose, in the real world. If you drove along that main road, you wouldn't think to just turn up this little track, little monument, and church, egg sell point just on the left-hand side. Little track through to a field round the back. There's lots of great detail. It's brilliant. So if I come down this side here, there's a little turning just on our right. If I go up this turning here, everything is split off on this side. So if we go to this one first, we have got our wool sell point, spinnery, whatever you want to call it. There's no building, but that's where you sell it. And here is our livestock market. It's not an Emerson's, it's nothing, it's not signposted really. There's not even a little sign on the gate saying what it's called. Little porter cabin for doing whatever the necessary paperwork is you need to do when you're buying and selling livestock. But there we go, dialogue box. So for all of your animals, this is where you would come to if you want to transport your animals by trailer. So there we go, and you can see just through there is the store. You just have to come round to get to it this side. Back out the livestock section and the wool sell point. We then come round, and here we have got, if I just always across there, we have got the unload sell area number 2. We've got round this side, we've got the unload sell area number 1. So if you're unloading or selling, that's where you're going to be doing it. We have over here a manure sell point, I think it's a sell point, slurry, and we've got our bale straw sell point. If we go through the gates here, we have our lumberyard with crane, should you need it, or you can employ some of the more unorthodox and unusual unload methods, which I often do. And then we've got, again, very much like on Lawfolds, we've got a low-cost storage area, Drumard grains. So if you've run out of storage space at your farm, you don't want to buy new silos, bring it here and you can offload and store here. Offload it here and put it into storage. There is a fee, but it does say low cost, so I'm assuming it's not a huge amount of money. And then when you want to come and collect it again later, there is your collection point. So there we go. That's pretty much all of your store type areas dealt with. Now, what's also fascinating on this bit here, this massive expanse of tarmac. Don't know if they're expecting to have some kind of open air market or something here at the weekends, I don't know. But again, what I like is that, like I say, if you look across there, you can see right across the Drumard farm. Close that. And turn that off. So Drumard farm is directly across there, and like I say, you can see directly across. It's not a big map, but it feels big. If you're fed up with me saying that, I'm sorry, I won't say it again. So if we come back out and through the little village, we've got more little fields and things dotted all over the place. Little tracks that lead into fields all over. People busying around their day. It's tight, there's not a huge amount of room through here. If we come along this little lane out the back here, we've got our last few fields on the map before we come to the southern edge of the map. Now, maybe there is... I don't know. I'm thinking here, you've got kind of these low, strange little hedges. I say strange, they're not strange. But you can kind of cut through here. I don't know whether or not, potentially, there is a cut through. Oh no, there's hedges there. I was going to say, whether there is some way of weaving your way across the fields to get to Drumard Farm in a quicker fashion. That's the sort of thing I would think. Once you start on the map, you might have a bit of an explore round and see what you can find. But But that is the map. That's everything you need to know, everything you need to know where it is. If you want to go to church Sunday, here's the church. And that's everything you need to get started on Drumard Farm. It's a nice map. I know I've said it repeatedly, and it is great. The details are great, and as I've said on every first look I've done, the fact that console gamers, especially I for one being a PS4 gamer, have access to these kind of maps now, and the modders that are making them, the quality of these maps is just phenomenal. You can't odds the effort and the energy and the detail that's gone into them. It's just brilliant. I mean, look at that sweeping out across there. It is absolutely cracking. But there you go. That is Drumard Farm, County Louth in Ireland. I hope you've enjoyed this first look, albeit brief and very sort of fast whizzing round, trying to fit as much stuff in as possible. It is a great map. I do like it, and I say this every single time I do one of these. I really want to do a let's play on this. And I really do. This is a great one, and the last time I said that was Colby Park Farm, and I didn't do the let's play, and I wish I had have done. Kind of go with my gut and say shall I. The problem I've got is I'm on the Old Stream Farm, I'm doing law folds. I really want to do this one, and I might well do. I've got to decide which one I'm going to stop doing, but that will be something I need to decide for another day. If you've enjoyed this first look at Drumard Farm, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free, and if you want to share the video, please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do, thanks for watching.